Okay, guys, we are here. So this is the third consecutive Corvette Weekly here on Horsepower Obsessed. I hope you guys are liking these because I am absolutely loving doing them for you. So, guys, we have a lot to talk about today. We woke up to some pretty important news from GM about a new Corvette, a new C8 Corvette. So, yeah, guys, we're going to talk about it all. So we have some Z06 information, nothing major on that one, of course, unfortunately. But the big one was, of course, the Eray. And Chevy kind of gave us a little bit of a dive into the future with the Eray because they also talked about another electric Corvette, and they specifically said fully electric. Now, I'm looking over in the chat section over here, guys, and I'm seeing a lot of the same names again. And like I say every week, that is fantastic. It means we're building that community, and I love it. I love it. So, guys, what I'm going to do right off the bat, I'm going to throw up a poll on the chat over here. So if you guys are on the chat here on the live video, definitely take a look at this. I'm curious. So right off the bat, guys, this is going to be a poll asking, what would you prefer at this point? Based on what you know of the Eray and the latest leak for the Eray, are you going to get an Eray? Are you going to try to get an Eray, or are you going to try to get a Z06? I don't want to necessarily put any kind of any guarantees on any of these things because I know both of these cars are going to be pretty hard to get. So are you going to try to get a Z06, or are you going to try to get an Eray? I'm really curious because I've heard some people talk about the Erays in a way that I feel like the Eray is going to have a substantial buyer, a substantial base of buyers. So let's take a look here, guys. All right, so we got Shane. Shane is here. Thanks for tuning in, Shane. I love seeing that. I love seeing all the same names popping up over here, guys. Like I said, we're building that Corvette community, and I love it. Becca, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Shane says Z06 issues or delays and loving some Eray info. Yep. So we got a little bit of information on the Z06. Nothing crazy, but we definitely have a lot of Eray information to go over because that short video we got was only 26 seconds or 28 seconds long, and it gave us a lot of information. So we're going to go over that in a second. Frank Smoke, we're here ready to complain. Yeah, that's how we do it, guys. We complain. As much as complain is has kind of a negative thing about it, but at the end of the day, we're all Corvette guys. Of course, we're going to complain about changes. That's how it goes. Kevin says, hi, Justin. How you doing, Kevin? Thank you for tuning in. Hello, all. William Richardson. Hey, Justin. Hello, everybody else. How you doing, William? I'm a track guy, Z06 for sure. Going to drive the snot out of it. Yeah, so that's what I like to hear. Now, I've been on a track only a handful of times in my entire life. My ZR1 has not made it to a track yet, but I actually have some plans to do so this summer. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned for that video. I'm going to be going to an event with a friend of mine. You probably know him, Josh from Blackout tinting. We're going to go down there. We're going to do some track driving. So we'll see how good the ZR1 is. Flying Cop Car, I have a Z06 ordered and had a base C8 Stingray ordered. That is a year out. I just got a hold of my dealership. I'm number 3 for the Eray. Good for you. Kerry Glock says, not at this point, no Eray. Shane says, I've tracked the Acura NSX, very nice, versus the C8 in Speed Vegas track, and it was definitely a track beast versus the C8. The C8 with a similar electric front motor would be legit awesome. 100% agree, guys. I've spent some time behind the wheel of the NSX as well. My friend over at Pat's Garage Online, he actually owns an NSX, and I really, really liked that car. I got into it, I'll be honest with you, I got into it with kind of low expectations because of everything that people say online about it, but I was really, really pleasantly surprised. Z06 all day. Let's see. Yeah, the Z06 guys. If you just came in here, check over on the chat here and vote for the Z06 or the Eray. Which one are you going to try to get? I'm not going to put any kind of definites on anything because I know both of these cars are going to be hard to get. But if you had to choose one, which one would it be? Small guy said it was under 100 miles, didn't pass because of the computers. Huh. That's interesting. Need to hear the thunder, not unless they give you a vroom with the engine. Well, the guys, the Eray is going to be a 2024. So GM basically confirmed that. They said it's coming next year. That is going to put it as a 2024 model. So very likely we are going to be receiving the Eray right around this time, maybe a little later, probably summer of 2024 if I had to guess. It is still going to have a 6.2 liter V8 in it. So the same V8 that the base C8 has, only it's also going to have a hybrid assist front motor or front motors, meaning it might have a motor on each wheel or it might just be one motor driving both wheels. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be separate motors. So one motor on the driver's side, one motor on the passenger side wheel, just to maintain that all-wheel drive approach. Shane says, my concerns so far with the Z06 will be the issues with the high vibrations and issues with trans and engine mounts. That is my only concern at this point. I fear that the reason we haven't heard more about the Z06 has something to do with the noise, vibration, harshness, which if you guys are familiar with any flat plane crank engine, they have an issue with these. So it's abbreviated NVH. A lot of times you'll hear that being tossed around whenever they're talking about the GT 350 engine in the Mustangs, or even in the Ferraris. They have a lot of issues with vibration specifically, and to counteract that, GM has used an engine mount that is designed similar to the MagRide strut. It actually will allow it to firm up or to loosen up based on some magnetic particles that flow through the fluid inside of the engine mount. So basically, I think there's issues with that somewhere. I've read a couple different leaked documents talking about this being an issue. I don't know how true it is, so I haven't really reported on any of it yet. But if that's the case, that is definitely something we want them to take care of before that car comes out. So I'm okay waiting a little longer for that car to come out and be perfect or issue-free at least. All right, guys, so let's take a look at the poll here. We got 47 votes, and of the 47, only 28% are saying that they would take the Eray. So if you guys are just now tuning in, check out the vote over here and tell me, are you going to take a Z06 or an Eray? Like I said, we're not dealing in definites here. I know these cars are going to be hard to get, but if you had to make a choice, which one are you going to select, the Z06 or the Eray? I'm curious because I've heard some people being pretty interested in the Eray apparently, and I want to see if you guys are on my channel, basically. So anyway, let's see. What other questions do we have here so far, guys? We do have some information. We're going to go over that. We're going to jump into the questions first before we start into any of the serious information. Flying Cop Car says, do you think that the Eray will have more horsepower than the Z06 due to them wanting people to switch over to electric? No, I don't. So we're going to actually talk a little bit more about that in a second, because what is happening is GM has confirmed, obviously, the Eray is coming next year. But what they also did was they also told us that there is a fully electric one coming soon. Now, for any of you guys who are, OGs on the live videos here, you're going to know I've been saying for the last 4 weeks that I don't think we're going to get a ZR1. I think we're going to go straight to a Zora, and the Zora is going to be fully electric. And GM all but confirmed that today by saying that, not only are we getting the Eray, but we're also going to be getting a fully electric C8 Corvette. I really don't, I can't even begin to wrap my head around how we are going to get another fully electric C8 that isn't a Zora. So yeah, I think it's going to be the Zora, and I've been talking about that for a while. So this is just one of those things where I'm pretty in tune with what GM is doing, it seems, because you can kind of follow their previous release patterns with this stuff and look at how they handle their new Corvette releases. And for the most part, the way that GM is pushing electric cars right now, it just seemed to me like it's not going to be a twin turbo engine with a bunch of hybrid motors on the front to really push it over that 1,000 horsepower. It's just going to be fully electric, and GM kind of confirmed that today. So we're going to talk a lot more about this, guys, but I want to check out some of the comments here. So we do have front seat driver on here. Jason's on here. Everybody say hi to Jason. Front seat driver. He has his own YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen it, you should. Becca says she would take the Z06. That's good to know. I personally would also take the Z06. I think that's more my speed. Front seat driver says hard pass on anything full electric. It's weird because as a car guy, I don't know many car guys that are super happy about cars going fully electric. So Kevin, again, I don't want to make this 100% fact, because this is not fact. This is not even a leak at this point. This is my personal opinion that I don't think we're going to get a ZR1, and if we do, it's not going to be what we were thinking it was, with the whole twin turbo V8 with hybrid assist engine and all the motor and all this other stuff. I don't think it's going to be that. I think Chevy is really pushing hard for a fully electric vehicle, or electric in general, and Corvette kind of fits the mold because it's a big V8 engine. It's got fairly poor gas mileage, and the EPA wants to shut that down. They want us all to go electric, and the Corvette's one of the ones with the worst gas mileage, so it makes sense that that would go fully electric. Lawrence says, if I can't hear it, I can't buy it. Man, I'll tell you what, I like that. I like that a lot. Kerry Glock said, you said in an earlier vlog maybe low or mid 2 seconds for 0 to 60. Yeah, so Kerry, again, I know your name's not Kerry, but I'm going to just refer to you that way. The E-Ray is very likely to be around 2.3 seconds to 60, because it is going to be quicker, but it's not going to be faster than the Z06. What that means is you're going to have a faster 0 to 60 time, but overall the car is going to be slower. So if you were to take the E-Ray to the track next to the Z06, it's not going to outperform a Z06. It will, however, get to 60 faster than the Z06. Okay, Myron says, what are the results of the E-Ray? I missed it. So we're going to go over the E-Ray here in a second, but basically GM confirmed today, they released a video confirming the E-Ray's arrival next year. So we are going to be seeing the E-Ray in person around summer of 2024. It will be a 2024 model car. They haven't really given us any more information than that. They released a really short 26-second teaser video just showing the fact that it is going to be all-wheel drive, and that it is going to be a hybrid setup. And they also confirmed that there is a full electric C8 coming very soon. Have they upgraded the axles on the Z06 since the Stingray? I do not know the answer to that, but I freaking hope that they did, because for any of you guys who subscribe to the channel, you'll know I took my C8 Corvette to the track, the drag strip, and I broke an axle. And I did so with stock power, stock launch control, stock tires. Nothing was really different on the car. It was a good warm day, and the track was prepped really well. It broke an axle. Luckily, I was able to get that fixed by GM. They covered it under warranty, so they will warranty their cars to be driven as they say that they can be, which is awesome. But at the same time, it could have been a sticky situation, because those axles are tough to get right now. So yes, hopefully they have made those changes. We will see very soon. All right, so Wing says, as long as we can get gas, I will be listening to the sweet Z06 music. Yeah, I agree. Peter Powder says, electric motors make more sense than internal combustion. That said, I'll take my supercharged C6 Corvette any day. Agreed. All right, guys, so we have our first super chat of the day. The guest has donated some money to the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel, and that's awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Any money you donate goes right back into the channel, and trust me, I will always do my best to make it worth your while. So if you guys help support the channel, you're helping build something great. I really think that this Corvette community is going to turn into something fantastic. He asks, do you think GM will ever let us tune the C8 Corvette? Unfortunately, the answer to that, in my opinion, is no. I don't think they're ever going to give us an easy way into that ECU. There's a million reasons why, but the biggest one is they don't want you tampering with it. At the end of the day, if you mess with something in there that they're not able to detect, then you could potentially come back at them for parts that you caused the early failure of. Now, that's just one reason. There's a bunch of reasons, and a lot of them are security-based. So you have some security issues nowadays with automobiles, and GM doesn't want to have any issues with it. So I highly doubt it. I really highly doubt we're ever going to be given the keys to that. Now, whether or not someone will crack that ECU, that's to be determined. I also think the answer to that is no as well, but that's more likely than GM handing us the key. Frank Smoke says, Lawrence for the win. Josh, E-Ray all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive? Josh, the E-Ray is going to be all-wheel drive. GM actually released a video today showing the E-Ray driving in the snow, and you could clearly see the front wheels spinning before the rear wheels, meaning the power is being divided amongst those wheels, probably with some bias to the front wheel depending on what mode you're in. Shane says, I don't believe the U.S. can handle full electric vehicle yet. The system or grid is not set up to support going full electric at this time. I think more hybrid models first is the best route to take. You're 100% right, Shane. So one of the biggest problems we're going to face as Americans is the fact that the power grid is not really set up to charge all of these cars. I'm sure in a couple years, hopefully not too long, it will be. But at the same time, I feel like we're adopting the fully electric car a little too soon. I think we're pushing for this too soon. It should just be given its natural progression and allow it to happen in the time it's going to happen. I feel like we're pushing for it too much. Shane says, is anybody going to the National Corvette Museum Bash this weekend? Guys, if you are, put it in the comment section over here. Maybe you can meet up with Shane. I was going to, Shane, but I ran into some issues that are going to prevent me from going, unfortunately. I really wanted to go because I'd love to meet you guys. I really would. I will meet you at Corvettes Carlisle, though, if you're going to be there. Myron says, I'm wondering why they're making the E-Ray slower than the Z06. So the E-Ray is going to be taking over the Grand Sport moniker. So the Grand Sport was always slower than the Z06. It just had some of the features from a Z06. The E-Ray is going to basically be that car now. So it's going to be quicker, though. It's going to have a faster 0 to 60 time. But at the end of the day, it is basically a Grand Sport. It's going to look like a Z06, but it's going to function like something totally different. Sportify, hey, how you doing, man? Another name. Guys, I'm seeing all these names again. Like I said, we are building a Corvette community. I love it. Hey, Justin, glad to be on the live. I'm glad to have you on the live, Sportify. Kevin says, do you think the Corvette team still has another surprise for us at the National Corvette Museum Bash? I don't think it's a surprise, but I do think they're going to have some information for us about the Z06. Maybe some pricing, maybe a Nürburgring time. So maybe it will be a surprise. What was this? Elijah says, what about Amelia Hartford's tuned C8? So Amelia's C8 is not actually on a stock ECU that's been tuned. Those are using what they call like piggyback solutions. And while you can do it that way, it's not ideal and it's not super easy. So the ECU has not been cracked yet. There is no way to crack the stock ECU. The only thing you could do is use a piggyback solution. General Lee's here, guys. Thank you, General Lee. I'm glad to see you on the chat here. It's awesome. I love seeing you guys all popping up here. All right, let's see. We got to scroll back down. General Lee says, hey, Justin, late to the party, but glad to be here. My new garage has a port for the hybrid. Nice. But it's the Z06 with a Z07 package for me all day. Yeah, man after my own heart right here, guys. So General Lee is one of the coolest people I've ever met, and I hope to see you at Corvettes Carlisle this year. The Z06 is winning the battle, guys. I think we're probably just about done with this. We have almost 100 votes, and 73% of them are going towards the Z06, 26% saying E-Ray. So, well, 74-26 now. So basically, 74 of you have said E-Ray, 26 of you has said... I'm sorry, 74 said Z06, 26 said E-Ray. It's interesting, guys. I'm kind of surprised by these numbers. I'm going to let this go a little bit longer, I think. All right, guys. So number 2 super chat donation of the day comes from General Lee. That's awesome. So not only is he a cool guy in real life, but he's also helping support the channel, guys. Like I said, anything you donate to the channel goes right back into the channel. So you are literally making the channel better anytime you do that. I don't require that you do that, obviously, but if you do, I greatly appreciate it. Amber, so number 3 super chat of the day comes from Amber, my wife. She says the Z06 100 times over the E-Ray in hypersonic gray. Thank you for the great HPO community you're building. Your passion shines through. Thank you. They say behind every great man is a great woman, so perhaps that is what's happening here. William Richardson says, my dealer Mike Furman is heading there, so maybe there's some news. It's possible. The Corvette Bash always has some form of news that comes from it. And in this case, we're waiting pretty desperately for the Z06 stuff, so it is possible we'd get some good news. Garrett says, do you think the rumors of the Corvette Zora are true of a Eray meets ZR1? Yes and no. I don't believe that the Zora is going to be anything but a fully electric vehicle. I don't think it's going to be a twin turbocharged V8 with a hybrid setup. I think it's going to be fully electric. Apple and RC is on here. How you doing, Patrick? Thanks for tuning in. Isaiah's on here, guys. Man, everybody's tuning in. I love this. Front seat driver says, so Amber, what's your favorite color? LOL. Like you really need to ask here. Steve-O says, Eray Academy for people who like a 4,000-pound vet. Yeah, nobody likes that. Shane says, and he's laughing at front seat driver. The guess, guys, number 5 for the day on Super Chat is the same guy who did number 1. He says, need to get the likes up. Yeah, guys, come on. Press that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. We got to get this thing moving. What we're going to do here, like I said, with the Corvette community is something that you guys are all going to want to be part of, because even if it's only information, it's going to be a weekly update. And it's going to actually be more than just information anyway. So it's not going to be just weekly updates to C8 or in the future C9, C10 news. It's going to be about you guys. Bring in your questions about your Corvettes. Bring in your comments about your Corvettes. What generations you like the most. All that stuff. I mean, we're going to talk about all of it. I want you all to be a part of it, because at the end of the day, we're all Corvette nuts. And why not sit in here and talk about it with other Corvette nuts, right? Isaiah says, you make the channel better. I appreciate that, Isaiah. I'm assuming you're probably talking about Amber. But I'll pretend like you're talking about me. William Richardson says, sorry, I'm poor, Justin. I just bought the C8. LOL. You really can't go wrong. I mean, honestly, the C8 lineup, as we move forward, it is just so awesome. There is literally, right now, if all the cars were available, you have the base C8, you have the Z06, and you have the Eray. Right off the bat, those 3, you have basically every base covered. If you're an electric fan, you get the Eray. If you're a track going nut, you get the Z06. If you want to have some track experience or some track focus and also be able to drive it on the street, you get the C8. You got it all. Now, like I said, guys, I owned a C8 Corvette. I loved the car. I only got rid of mine in preparation for the Z06 because I know that was the car, that's where I wanted to be. It had nothing to do with anything else. The car was fantastic. I had no problems with that car. I loved driving it. It was always fun to be behind the wheel of. I just knew that the Z06 is where I wanted to be. Luis Rivera says, I lost interest in Z06, but cut my attention to the Eray. Okay. Anything for you, Justin. Thanks, Patrick. Isaiah, aloha. Congrats, William Richardson. Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, no one is going to ever give you any kind of trouble over having just a C8 Corvette, because I'll be honest, you still have a car that's cooler than 99% of them out there. So congratulations to you. All right, guys, one more time, please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. We're about to get into some of the news. I think we're at 130 people watching right now, guys, so I should have about 130 thumbs up. Let me check. It doesn't look good. It does not look good. Guys, please hit that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the comments or the content. We got to get this thing rolling here. We're going to jump into the information in 1 second. I just got to get to the end of these comments. Sportify says he doesn't think the Eray will be as fast, to be honest, more like a GT version of the Z06. Yeah, so Sportify, they've already kind of confirmed that the Eray is going to be quicker, but not faster. So meaning it's going to have a slightly faster 0 to 60 time, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be faster around the track or in normal, like, sporty driving. All right, guys, so number 5, the super chat of the day. Number 5 comes from Future Sean. Thank you, Future Sean. You're another one that is constantly supporting this channel. Trust me, that will not be forgotten. He says, Justin, you're killing it, buddy. Thanks for all the info. For some reason, this Eray release makes me a little nervous. You would think pricing and lap time would be out before the Eray release. I'm praying the Z06 is on time. So, guys, that is one thing we were going to talk about today, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, is it is odd. it is very strange that GM would have given us any taste of the next model to come before the current model is even out or has even been updated. We don't have pricing. We don't have allocation info. We don't have Nürburgring time info. How are we already getting another model? It is strange, but a lot of people are speculating there may be problems with the Z06, and GM is kind of throwing the Eray out there to help take our minds off of it. I don't know. I hope you're wrong. I really do, but it does seem likely. Pyromaniac, every evening, Justin. How's the new shop in TRX treating you? Pyro, the shop is fantastic. I am here 2.5 hours after closing time because it is that fantastic. And the TRX is getting some work done up at Blackout Tinting in Pennsylvania. You guys will be seeing that very soon. It's looking awesome. I have about 1,200 miles on the TRX already. I've been driving the crap out of it, and I'm loving every second of it. Apple and RC. So number 6 super chat of the day, guys, comes from Apple and RC. Like I said, donating to the channel. It's going to go right back into the channel. He says, I'm good. How are you? This is very much so an inside joke, but he'll like that. Amber says, congrats, William. You will love it. We loved ours. 100%. The C8 is a really cool car. You will definitely love it. General Lee says, my salesman contacted me today, and we both had a laugh when Mark said the Z06 was in production now. Will let us order the dang car. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he would have said that. Although I'll be honest with you, if you watch the entire thing, he seemed like he was either super nervous or he was thrown into it at the last second because he didn't even know which channel he was on. At one point he said something about thanking CNBC or whatever for bringing him on, and he totally screwed up the acronym of the thing, and it was kind of funny. But Jake says, just tuning in, can you fill me in? So Jake, today the GM announced officially that there is going to be a hybrid C8 Corvette. They're not calling it the Eray yet, but we already know that name has been trademarked, so very good chance this is going to be the Eray. It is going to be an all-wheel drive hybrid setup C8 Corvette with the same 6.2 liter engine in the rear with a hybrid assist motor on the front wheels, thus giving it all-wheel drive and a little bit of boost in horsepower with a very Z06 look to it. So it's going to have a wide body and all of that stuff, but not the power plant from the Z06. William Richardson says, I can't believe how well it drives. It's my first Corvette. It really does drive nicely. Shane says, Justin, how would the rapid blue color look in Stealth Expel? Shane, that is something I always wanted to check. I had one guy almost convinced to do it, and I put well, I didn't. It was Blackout Tinting, put a square of Expel Stealth on his hood to see if he'd like it. I thought it looked amazing, but he ended up deciding against it. Stealth is kind of a difficult color because if you ever plan on selling the car, it's a little harder to find somebody who appreciates it as much as you do. I know on my C8 that I had when it was Stealth, I loved that color, but it depends on who you're talking to because some people hate it, some people love it. Has Blackout Tinting ever wrapped a C8 engine bay, and if so, did it hold up? They have not ever wrapped anything like that I know of. I don't think it would hold up, but they may have some specific answer for that. If you want to shoot me an email, I could probably get you the info on it if you're interested in trying to do it. Elijah says, is the C8 ZR1 going to be the last Corvette with the combustion engine? So, Elijah, I actually think that the C8 Z06 is going to be the last of the combustion engine. Now, this is just my opinion. There is no fact behind this yet. But if that is the case, then I don't think we're going to get a ZR1 at all, and the Zora is going to be fully electric. All right, so number 7 with the super chat of the day, guys, is Car Renters Club. You may have heard me talk about them a little bit ago with one of the videos I put out because you can actually rent their cars right here in Florida. And 2 of the cars they have a C8 Corvette and a C7 Stingray Corvette. So if you are interested in renting something like that, I'll put it in the description of this video after it is not live anymore. and you can actually grab one of their cars, kind of like Toro, only it's better price and the people are cooler to deal with. I have a lot of future videos coming out about this. You guys are going to hear about the Car Renters Club a lot on this video, or on these coming videos, because of how interesting their process is. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, Car Renters Club, for helping support the channel. Only 32 thumbs up. Guys, come on. Smash that thumbs up button for me. Let me know you're liking the content. We got to get to at least 100 before I can end these videos. So 100 thumbs ups, it would make me very happy, guys. It's free. Click that thing. It helps out the channel. It helps out other Corvette owners. Jonathan Brown says, how do we donate money? So, Jonathan, if you're on your chat, down at the bottom right, you should see what looks like a little dollar sign. You can actually hit that and donate from there. Isaiah says the TRX is amazing, drives like a dream. Barbarian says there are no issues with that car. It is fine. People are just addicted to narratives. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Barbarian, but let me know. Shane says still no collab with Street Speed 717 and jump in your TRX. Haha. It's odd you say that, Shane. I may or may not have texted him about that, and we may or may not be working out the details. General Lee says, what's up to Jason, front seat driver? He's ready to order. I know you are, man. You might be more excited about this car than I am, and that really takes something, because I am insanely pumped for this thing. Gino says, do you think there will be a long wait list for the E-Ray like there is the Z06? So, Gino, that's why I did the poll. If you guys are looking at the live chat, I did a poll asking, will you get the Z06 or the E-Ray? And there is 145 votes right now. 74% are saying Z06 and 26% are saying E-Ray. So, to answer your question, yes and no. I don't think the list will be as long as the Z06 because it looks like a lot more people want the Z06 than the people that want the E-Ray. We're going to end this poll though, guys. We got 147 votes. 74% are saying Z06. That's a lot of people. That's super awesome, William. Love every minute of it. Your first Corvette definitely won't be your last, says Amber. She's definitely right. Frank Smoke says, if I don't get the call by June, I'm out of the list. Frank Smoke says, no car in this world is worth my patience. I like that. All right, guys, so number 7, Super Chat donator of the day is Becca. She helps support the channel, just like any of you guys have so far. I appreciate it. You guys are you're going to make a difference on the channel. She says, go Justin. Thank you. I appreciate it. Matt B says, hey, Justin, I found a C6 ZR1 that I'm interested in. What do you think about them? I love the C6 ZR1s. I love them. If you can get one at a decent price that isn't completely beat on, I would definitely do it. William says, is it just me or is everybody else looking for an excuse? Where did that go? To go drive their C8. Absolutely. You know what? That's what I was thinking about this this whole Corvette community that we're making here with the live videos. If nothing else, it gets you excited about your car. Go drive it. Go have fun with it. Go wash it. Go stare at it. Whatever it is you want to do. That's what this is all about, guys. We're all Corvette guys. At the end of the day, we're all Corvette nuts. Do whatever it is that makes you happy with that car. We can sit here and talk about it all day. I mean, I'm plenty fine talking about Corvettes. It makes me excited just talking about them. But driving them and experiencing them, that's a totally different thing. Steve-O says, MSRP guess. I would say that the E-Ray is probably going to come in around 5,000 to 10,000 less than the Z06. I think the Z06 is going to start at 89,995, right around 90,000. So I'm thinking the E-Ray is going to start 79 or 80,000. Why do I feel like it's going to be a V6? Gusty, there's no way. So if you look at the launch video from GM today talking about the E-Ray, well, they don't actually talk, but that's what they were showing. You can actually hear the engine at one point. It is almost guaranteed the 6.2 liter from the base C8. It sounds exactly the same. Thaniel says, Justin, are you still in Miami? Yes, I am. You can see the board here behind me. This is actually right behind our front desk. Amber Lynn, should I be receiving my C8 2023 model? Oh, nice. All right, so Shane, yours is coming soon too. That's awesome. Steve Penn says, I'm sorry I missed it, but did you pick the color for your Z06? Odds are pretty good. The color on my Z06 is going to be black. I see you're back in Florida. Yes, I am. All right, guys. We're getting into this a little bit. One last thing, though. Number 7 for the Super Chat comes from Isaiah. He says, happy for your success, buddy. Thank you so much, Isaiah. My success is only the success that it is because of people like you, so I appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to flip this around real quick. I'm going to get into some of the information. But before I do, there has been one more Super Chat. So, 8. Number 8 for the day already. Guys, you guys are blowing it up today. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea how much this helps the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and giving the Super Chat. This comes from Dad's Garage. So, guys, he is a YouTuber as well. He actually hangs out a lot with Front Seat Driver and Protective Dad Pranks. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of them on the channels or on the videos coming forward. He says, hey, buddy, good seeing you live. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the donation. Guys, I'm going to flip this around real quick and give you some information on what we're going to be talking about today. I know you guys don't want to just see my face all day, so let me flip this around for a second. So here's the first bit of news, the first bit of information that's probably not super exciting, and that is that the Corvette assembly plant is going to shut down next week for parts-related shortages. Now, that is this week at this point, so this article was put out on the 22nd, so starting today, that plant is shut down. Again, very surprising that the plant is shut down and we get confirmation of a new performance variant coming. I think it's definitely strange, but it is what it is, I guess, guys. So for any of you waiting for a C8 Corvette or waiting for any Corvette or any C8, regardless of what model at this point, this is only going to push everything back a little bit more. Now everything is starting a little bit later. The 2023 Corvettes were supposed to start on May 9th. Now they're starting. So everything's getting pushed back a little bit further because of these shortages that we're still having. So this is the first bit of information. It's not the most exciting. It's actually kind of disappointing, but it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so moving on, guys. The next one is the C8 Corvette Z06 GT3R is going to hit the track for initial tests. So this comes to us from our friends over at the midenginecorvetteforum.com. This is a really interesting car, guys. I didn't really do a video on this because I didn't fully understand what the heck it even was. And if you want to come over here and read about this, this is basically the race car version of the Z06. This is something that Chevy is going to be producing and selling, and you can literally take this thing to the track and drive it like some of the people drive the C8Rs on the track. It is literally going to be a track-ready race car. And we got some information about it over here. It looks like it's finally going to be hitting the track for some initial tests, meaning that it's going to be relatively not too much longer before you can buy it. But it does also say that it's going to make a debut in 2024 right alongside the Eray at this point. So if you guys want to read a little bit more about that, head over to midenginecorvetteforum.com. I do really like the way that this car looks. It is basically a C8R replica. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, plant shuts down again. It is really disappointing, guys. Pyromaniac went to Corvettes at Carlisle in 2020. It was totally worth the trip. I remember meeting you there. It was really awesome. I'm definitely always glad to see you guys at Corvettes at Carlisle. Shane, yes, you do need tickets for Corvettes at Carlisle. I will be there, of course. I will have a couple different booths set up, actually, so you shouldn't be able to miss it. But I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to Corvettes at Carlisle, so if you don't see me right away, just hang out. Hang out at my booth and wait for me to come over. Okay, guys, so the next little bit is going to be talking about, of course, that Mark Royce was saying that the electrified C8 Corvette coming as early as next year. I did a video on this earlier today if you guys haven't seen it yet, but ultimately what this is talking about is some of the stuff we've already talked about. He also goes on to say that, you know, they're getting the full electric version of a Corvette coming soon as well, and I believe that to be the Zora model. I do believe it's going to be fully electric. And I do think it's going to replace the ZR1 moniker for the C8 generation. Now, most of this stuff's already covered in my my video I put out earlier today. If you guys want to check that out, it will be on my channel. I just put it out around 3 o'clock today. So moving from there, we're talking a little bit more about the fully electric Corvette. So again, that was really the big piece of information today, because we already had a pretty good idea that there was a Eray coming, but we didn't really know for sure anything about a fully electric Corvette. Everything up until this point has just been kind of speculation. Now we know. It is fully electric, coming very soon. He has not said what that model is going to be called, but my guess is it is the Zora model that is going to be fully electric. Now again, this piece of information is over on the Mid-Engine Corvette forum. If you want to read more about it, you can definitely do so. I don't want to just sit here and read to you guys. I just want to show you the information and talk a little bit about the overview of it. If you want the details, definitely check out Mid-Engine Corvette forum. Now, what this was titled here today, guys, was the details that you've missed in the C8 Corvette hybrid release trailer from GM. So we're going to go over these a little bit. I want to play this for you just real quick. I want to show you what we're missing. So the big one right off the bat, as soon as the video starts, you're going to see this. And this is the front end of the car. Now, you can't, it is very foggy or kind of snow covered, so it's a little bit difficult to see it, but it does in fact have an opening in the front bumper, which is going to allow additional cooling. And the only other car that's doing that right now is the Z06. So the front end of this car is not your base model front of the C8 Corvette. This is taking more so after the Z06, which we kind of suspected, because at the end of the day, the hybrid setup of the Eray is to replace the Grand Sport. And we already know every time they make a Grand Sport, it looks like a Z06 but performs like the base model. In this case, it looks like the Z06 has the same power plant out of the base model but adds a little bit more to it. So right off the bat, first one is the additional cooling in the front of that bumper. Now, if we play the video for a little bit longer, we get another one right here. Number one, we're looking at very similar wheels to the Z06. Odds are very good we're going to have a carbon fiber option here. Probably not exposed if I had to guess, but they're still going to want to do lightweight carbon fiber wheel because of that hybrid setup and to really reduce or improve, I guess, the gas mileage. But the big thing here is that you also have carbon ceramic rotors, which is, of course, reducing unsprung mass, which is helping to reduce weight, which is, again, benefiting the miles per gallon that this car is going to get. This thing is definitely going to come out of the gate with a really good miles per gallon setup, if I had to guess. I'm going to look at the comments here real quick, guys, see where we're at so far. Oh, wow. Okay, so number 9 super chat of the day, guys, comes from Greg Sorgel. Wow, Greg, he has donated a nice chunk of change there. That is amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are really helping support the channel. It is unbelievable. Thank you so much again, guys. I'm so excited that we're building this together. Skylar Allen says, is it too late to buy tickets for Carlisle? No, it's not, Skylar. If you want to go onto their the Carlisle website, you can do it all the way up to the day that the show is happening. And at that point, you can actually buy them at the show if you wanted to. So you can definitely head over there regardless. Yeah, so BRT Meister says parts shortage. It's across the entire USA. It really is, definitely. Is Bowling Green closed this week due to the parts shortage? Yes. AP's asks that question. It is closed starting today. Kevin says, I want that Z06 GT3R so bad. I'm on that list too, direct with Chevrolet. I think that that's going to be a super, super rare, super low production car, so it's going to be really hard to get that one as well. Will those Z06 GT3Rs be going for $1 million? If they're not going for $1 million, they're going to be pretty freaking close. Pyromaniac says they sell tickets at the door. That is definitely correct. Is Chevrolet stating reasons for the issues? No, they're not. They're just generally saying parts delays. So Kevin says no, probably base GT3R will start around 300 to 400. Kevin, even though it will start around that price, odds are good with the delays and the inability to get the cars, the prices are going to get jacked up pretty quick. Zora didn't see that one coming for his namesake. Probably not. There was not a whole lot of electric cars back in his day. Yeah, so Carl asked me, did you happen to catch Mark Royce saying that the Z06 had already been starting to be built? I did, but he's technically not wrong. They have already started building some of the test vehicles, so the captured test fleet vehicles. They have started to build those. So he's not wrong. They are building those. They're just not helping us in any way, shape, or form. Roger says Zora never saw a golf cart Corvette coming. Yeah. Gregory Pryor says there is no gallons. There is. So with the Eray, it is still a hybrid, not a full electric vehicle. You will still have to put gas in that car. Shane says, "You go, boy." Haha, I agree. For Greg Sorgel, you guys are really outdoing yourselves today, because I just got number 11 for the super chat today. It comes from Proco Evo, almost as big as Greg's donation. And guys, it's fantastic. Thank you so much. You are seriously helping put this channel into the stratosphere. I mean, it's going to be something special, and I know, I already can see it. You guys are going to love it. As the channel grows, we're going to do bigger and better things, and I want to build this community to the point where every Monday at 7:30, you're looking forward to sitting down and chatting about your Corvettes. That's what I want. I know that's what you guys want too, because I'm a Corvette guy, and I know that I would want to do that. So that's why we're doing this. Besides wrapping up the week of news, I also want to just build a community where we sit here and talk about Corvettes. Great info on the list. Hey everyone, Preston. How you doing, man? I appreciate you being here. That's another name I see a lot. So let's go over a couple more little things that the Eray video has showed us. So we talked about the front end being opened up like it is on the Z06 for additional cooling. We talked about the carbon fiber wheels being a very likely option. We talked about the carbon ceramic rotors that help reduce unsprung weight, which is obviously going to help with miles per gallon. And then as the car goes by a little bit more, we also get to see the boomerang. So the side profile shot shows that air intake on the side is the exact same design as it is on the C8 Z06. Not the design that we get with the base C8. So that's an interesting one. Now, like I said, guys, the Eray is replacing that Grand Sport, which means the Eray is very likely to share a lot of design cues from the Z06 without the flat plane crank engine. Now, again, from the side here, we can also see that the rear spoiler it has is indeed the same from the Z06, not the Z07 package car, but it does have the Z06 little wing on the back as well. Now, in the years past, you could get a Z07 package. I don't remember if they call it the Z07, but you could get something that was like the Z07 package for the Grand Sport. It would give you the bigger wing, more aerodynamic stuff like the bigger front splitter, the side skirts, all that stuff. So odds are good we'll be able to get a Z07 package for this car as well, which would give us the bigger spoiler and the more aggressive aerodynamic stuff. But let's keep going forward here, guys. So I'm going to rewind that so you can see that a little bit. You can see that front wheel starts to spin before the back wheel. So if any of you out there were doubting if this thing's all-wheel drive, you can see that front wheel spinning before the back one. So it is definitely pulling that car. Now, another thing we're going to see right here is the exhaust. So the exhaust on the Eray is in fact coming out of the sides of the rear bumper like the base C8 did, not the center like the Z06 is. Now, GM was very clear with this. They said that they did the center exit exhaust because of the sound. It had to come out of the center in order for it to sound correct. The Eray does not have to do that because the Eray has the same power plant that the base C8 does, so there's no point in pushing it out the center. Another thing, you can get a little bit of a better glimpse at these wheels here. These wheels look slightly different than anything we've seen on a Z06. They almost look like somewhat styled similar to the C7 ZR1 wheels. They have more of a star shape to them. Pretty interesting. So if we play this forward a little bit more, I mean, that right there, that's a fantastic shot. The car is literally just shooting around in here. Now, that was pretty much it of what I've noticed in this video. But like I said in the video I did for the Eray, the big benefit that is not really talked about or shown in this video is the fact that because of that front hybrid motor, there's going to be more weight on the front of the car. Now, as of now, the car is rear biased, meaning it is 61-39. So you got 61% of the weight is in the rear. 39% of it is up front. Some people speculate that number might be actually a little bit higher in the rear. But even if it is, it doesn't matter because now we're adding some weight to the front. We're going to have a battery in the front. We're going to have this hybrid motor or possibly 2 hybrid motors driving the front wheels. We're looking at adding probably another 200 or 300 pounds on the front end of that car. Now, even though that's not really a great thing as far as performance is concerned, weight to power ratio, it is a good thing because it's going to start balancing out the car to the point where it's going to be a lot closer to 50-50. Now, a lot of you guys already know the car had some issues with being such a rear bias car. Whenever people were putting it on a lift in the early days, the car was literally falling off the lift because there was so much weight in the rear and nothing in the front. They weren't positioning the lift correctly and it was falling off. This thing could help prevent some of that problem, and it may actually even make it a better driving car because it's going to feel like there's a lot more weight in the front. So that is pretty much all of my observations of this video, other than what it says in the description. Now, again, this is 100% fact, 100% official from Chevrolet themselves. They're saying in the description of this video, in addition to the amazing new Chevrolet Corvette Z06 coming this year, an electrified Corvette will be available as early as next year and a fully electric version to follow. Stay tuned for more. So with Chevy saying that, what they're basically saying is the Eray is coming next year and the fully electric version will follow. Now, they're not saying that it's going to follow the following month, the following year, following 2 years. I think that fully electric version is the Zora model. And it makes perfect sense whenever you think about the latest push for fully electric vehicles across the board. Proco Evo, I don't think we're going to get a ZR1. Now, that is just my opinion. There's been no confirmation of this whatsoever, but I don't think we're going to get a ZR1. I think the Zora is going to replace the ZR1 just like the Eray is replacing the Grand Sport. Appease says, with the parts shortages, I wonder how many units of the Z06 will be produced. That is really the big question. That's the big problem here, is that the Z06 is already hard to get. On top of that, it's going to be even harder if we can't get the parts to build it. Shane says, my guess is the Eray will be at least 100 horsepower gain and 100 torque. What are your thoughts? I would say we're probably right around there. I believe, if I remember correctly, I want to say that the original leaks were saying 150 horsepower. But at the same time, I don't know that GM is going to want to release that car with numbers that are just astoundingly better than a Z06 because it's going to kind of be counterproductive for them. When will the ZR1 be available? I personally don't think we're going to get a ZR1. I think the Zora is going to replace the ZR1 just like the Eray is replacing the Grand Sport. So the 8th generation Corvette looks to change things up a little bit. Obviously, they wanted to name one of these cars Zora just because Zora was the guy who really pushed hard for a mid-engine Corvette back in the day. But, yeah. So, guys, that's pretty much what we got for today. I definitely want you to check out the video I put out earlier talking about the Eray and really breaking it down because it's an interesting car. Even though the poll that we took here says that most people are interested in the Z06, there are the people out there that are interested in the Eray as well, and that car is going to be pretty good on its own. Now, obviously, if you're going to be a track goer, you're going to want that Z06, but if you're going to drive the car more so on the street and maybe every now and then on the track, the Eray might be the better choice for you. Davius King says, Zora coming summer of 2025. I don't think we're going to get it that soon. But honestly, I wouldn't have thought we were going to get the E-Ray this soon either. So it could be. If I had to really guess, I'd say it'd probably more like 26. I think the C8 generation by itself is probably going to last maybe 10 years. Totally disconnect the internet, but yeah. Elon Musk. Yeah, so Kevin, actually, the Wi-Fi here is pretty solid. It's just the power flickered just long enough to cut the router off, I guess. But honestly, it came back it cut off at a pretty appropriate time because we were pretty much done with updating on the E-Ray stuff. So it looks like a lot of people kind of bowed out. I'm sorry about that, guys. The power cut for just a second, and it was enough that it shut the internet off for just long enough to disconnect YouTube here. So I'm watching the chat here, though, guys. If you could please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. I'd greatly appreciate it. Some of you guys are coming back. I appreciate you guys coming back, tuning back in. Things like this happen. This is what live videos are all about. There is no editing. There's no way for me to make it look like it was a perfectly smooth process. The power flickered just long enough to take out my router here, and YouTube does not like that to drop for more than like a second or two. And when it does, it cuts the entire feed. So, yeah, guys, I'm seeing any possible negatives for the E-Ray. Too quiet, can't track it out right. After 1 or 2 laps, the battery will run out. So, no, I don't think the battery will run out per se. The way that the hybrid typically works is there isn't much going on as far as the car running purely on battery anyway. So I don't, typically the motor of the hybrid motor doesn't actually drive the front wheels long enough to carry the car anyway. It's more of an assist, which is why it's hybrid versus full electric. There really isn't a huge negative to going with the hybrid setup if you're okay with it. If you don't want the Z06, I would say get the hybrid. There really isn't a problem with it. So, yeah, I wouldn't say no. Yeah, Kevin says I need a power generator. That would probably be the next thing. That's the first time I've seen that happen here at the shop. Every now and then I see the lights flicker, but this was the first time it took out the internet with it. The Zora will be a limited production, so they will probably sell plenty. I just lost interest in it, though, if it's fully electric. I'm just not ready to have fully electric vehicle yet. Yeah, we're right there with you, Future Sean. I'm not really ready either, even though the Zora is basically going to be pretty much as rare as my ZR1. So what other questions do we have here, guys? You are doing a great job. Thank you, Becca. What other questions do we have, guys? It doesn't have to be related to the C8 Corvette. Tell me a little bit about your Corvettes. That's what this whole thing's about. I would love to talk about whatever it is that gets you guys going. Let me know what you guys have for me. You will be able to drive the E-Ray in the snow and mud. I'm sticking with the Z06. Yeah, so I don't know. There hasn't been a lot of talk about the fact that you can drive the E-Ray in snow or mud. They do obviously show that in the launch trailer, but I don't know. I don't think that that's necessarily what they're suggesting. And most people are not going to drive their $100,000 Corvette during the winter time. Kerry Glock says brake dust fixed. Yeah. So with the carbon ceramic rotors, brake dust is basically non-existent, and that's pretty cool. I love the carbon ceramics on my ZR1. Yeah, Preston says he's never even driven his in the rain. And that is the thing, guys. Most Corvette owners are not going to drive their cars in crazy weather situations because it's their baby. So at the end of the day, it's very unlikely that would ever happen anyway. But I guess GM's just kind of showing you that you can do it. All right, guys, so I think if you could, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. I think we're going to end this video. We got all the information talked about. We kind of had a little bit of a power issue there for a second, and it looks like a lot of the people have kind of made their way off of here. So, guys, I'm going to catch you in the next one, which will be this next Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will have a power generator this time. So, as we grow, we will learn what works and what doesn't. I appreciate all of the super chats today, guys. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much for sharing and asking the questions. You guys are great. I will see you guys next Monday at 7:30 p.m.